What's up? What's the Weatherman here with another banger for you guys, brought to you today by Raid Shadow Legend. Nah, I'm just kidding. We aren't actually sponsored yet. Please. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button so our videos don't get sent to the Shadow Realm, and let's hop right on into it. The skill most of us are choosing to play is Sealed Tombs, which says if your life points are 1,000 lower than your opponent, you can activate the skill and make it so that you and your opponent cannot banish cards or special summon them from the graveyard. Due to the fact that we want to activate this going first, it does make the deck do some things occasionally that you wouldn't normally do. So without any further ado, let's stop rambling and let's start learning. Let's hop on in. We're just gonna first talk about our equips. The first two equips that we have in the deck are Selene and Gorg. On top of the fact that both of these equips are needed for all of our monsters to gain their additional effects or their disruptions if they have them, they're also protection as well as consistency. Gorg's first effect is that his name becomes Evil Eye Selene because just like Drake, it has to act like something else to be good. I'm just kidding. Gorg's pretty good by itself. You can also banish this card from the graveyard to search for an Evil Eye spell trap like Evil Eye Domain, which has 3 effects. It lets us search for an Evil Eye monster in the deck on activation. It lets us add an Evil Eye monster from the graveyard if it's destroyed by card effect. And if you really want to annoy your opponent, once per turn, you can make them share the battle damage that your Evil Eye monster takes while you have Selene on the field. And get used to this whole while Evil Eye Selene is on the field phrase because every card in here is deck riding. Yes, I did say deck riding. This is a PG show. We can also search for Reemergence and Awakening, which are both used as extenders in this deck. Awakening lets you special summon an Evil Eye monster from your hand or graveyard. But of course, if Selene is on the field, you can special summon from your deck too. We'll typically search for this to go alongside Basilius, which I'll talk about in a second, to make a rank 3 being Break Sword to pop itself or the field spell, or technically speaking, an Evil Eye equip. You just have to pop one card you control and one card your opponents control. You could also summon Fortune Tune for protection. It also gains 400 life points on every standby phase, so this is something really nice to go along with the fact that we are burning ourselves. But do keep in mind, we do get effects from having lower life points, or not even effects, but we do get advantage from it. So there are some cases where you may actually want to be burned a little bit. We'll typically summon Evil Eye Cat with this card Awakening. We'll summon Cat from the deck if we already have Evil Eye Basilius. And like I said, we'll talk about Basilius in a moment. Cat can be summoned from the grave while we control an Evil Eye monster, and it can also protect a Evil Eye spell trap from being destroyed. Emergence is what we're going to be using to make a Link 2 or a Link 3 play, being our Link 2 Gorgon, which is a monster negate, or our Link 3 Zerzio, which can pop a card on the field. Emergence pretty much on activation is just going to allow us to summon a token, and then if Selene is on the field, it'll allow us to summon 2 tokens instead. I still haven't exactly figured out the exact scenario where you would prefer to activate Emergence over Awakening. You could maybe make the argument if you're trying to go for a Xyz play to use Awakening, or if you're trying to go for a Link play to use the Emergence. But I typically like to use the Awakening so that I could go for the Cat so that I could be able to protect my Selene. But you could also make the argument that Awakening is probably better for the follow-up play, being that you could play through disruptions with it. You could potentially get something back from the graveyard, or even summon something from the deck if you've got Selene on the field. So take that judgment with a grain of salt. The last spell traps that we play are Confrontation, which is MST while we control an Evil Eye monster, but it's Cosmic while we control Selene. And we also have Defeat, because I hear people make a lot of money posting these type of pictures. Oh, we're still talking about the Evil Eye trap, my fault. This card lets you bounce a monster or 2 monsters while Selene is on the field. Finally, we also have Selene itself, which will make the monster equipped to it untargetable, as well as it cannot be destroyed by our opponent's battle or card effect. We activate the effect of an Evil Eye monster equipped with Selene, or if we activate an Evil Eye spell trap while this card is face up, we will be burned for 500 life points, but that is actually a good thing, because not only does Selene boost the monster equipped by 500 attack points every time that this happens, it also helps us activate our skill Sealed Tomb, which like I said can be activated if we have 1,000 or less life points. However, even though this is a way that you can do it, and that's all fine and dandy, this isn't the best route to activate the skill. Going first, you'd probably prefer to activate Sealed Tombs by using the grave effect of Selene. By banishing an Evil Eye spell trap from your graveyard and paying 1,000 life points, you can set yourself on the field. This route easily lets you activate the skill without potentially needing to waste the activation of a spell that you may have wanted to keep for follow-up or to extend or something of that nature. You'll easily be able to get this engraved by using Evil Eye Basilius, which we can finally talk about now, to Foolish Burial this card going first. This bad boy is a level 3 that special summons himself from the hand, unlike Evil Eye Cat, who special summons himself from the grave, as well as the fact that it obviously sends a Evil Eye spell trap from our deck to our graveyard. And the last monster that we play in the main deck is Zerzio. This guy is pretty much the main character of the deck. Zerzio allows you to search for any Evil Eye card when it's normal summoned. He also is a disruption once equipped with either Selene or Gorg. And I may have forgotten to say it earlier, so just in case, case, all of our monsters that do have a disruption work this way. They do not get their disruption until they are equipped with Selene or Gorg. So I am referring to the Link 2 Gorgon, the Link 3 Zerzio, as well as the main deck monster Zerzio. They all have to be equipped with Gorg or Selene to get their effect to be able to disrupt our opponent. Once Zerzio is equipped with Selene or Gorg, obviously, it's going to gain the effect to pop one special summon monster that our opponent controls, but the cost is that we have to pop one card we control on the next standby phase. The downside of Gorgon is we have to destroy one card that it points to, which is kind of fine because the link arrows only point up and down. So if you're not right below it, you don't have to destroy your own card. And then on the bright side, if our opponent chooses to summon something in front of Gorgon, then our cost is to destroy one of their cards. That's also pretty nice, to be honest with you. Just keep their downsides in mind when you're playing and when you're activating and when you're setting up your board and placing them in specific places, because you don't really want to sit here and pop yourself or negate yourself or et cetera, or whatever the case may be. Now from here, I think it'll just be easier to show you how we get to some of these inboards. So let's just go ahead and get it started. So here, we've got the Zerzio for a search. We've got the Terraforming, which can get us the field spell. We've already got Awakening. So I'm already thinking maybe we're just going to search for the equip here, because we've got the Awakening and we've got the ability to get Basilius. So like I said first, we've already got the Zerzio. So step 2, let's get the Basilius. We're going to activate Terraforming to give ourselves that domain, and we're going to activate that Evil Eye domain expansion. So now from here, we're going to be able to search for that Basilius. Obviously, we're doing our step list, we're doing our checklist, and bam, we're going to search for a equip here. Now, I think it would be good for us to search for Gorg. And the reason I'm going to search for Gorg is because we're going to activate Seal Tombs. So we're going to search for Gorg, and we're going to special summon Basilius because we have a Evil Eye monster on the field. From here, the monster the card we're going to Foolish Burial, is going to be Selene. So we're going to send Selene to grave, because keep in mind, this is typically the best way to activate Seal Tombs. So from here, we're going to activate Gorg, and we're going to equip it onto our Zerzio. Now we can activate Selene, and we can summon from our deck. I luckily enough have access to a second equip, but if we don't have access to a second equip, then we're not going to make the Link to Gorgon. Instead, if we didn't have access to a second equip, we would make Fortune Tune. We would still want to summon Cat because we still want to protect our back row or our equip from being destroyed, but we would summon Fortune Tune, which would be able to, like I said earlier, it would be able to protect itself, and it would let us gain 500 life points. I think I said 400 earlier. 500 life points during each standby phase. This card also can't be targeted by card effects, and like I said, if it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, we could just detach a material. It also lets us return the 2 level 3 monsters we use for material back to the deck. It doesn't have to be the ones used for material, but that's going to be the only ones in the grave are the ones we use for material. Since we already have the board here, we're going to be able to go into our Link 2. So we're going to use these 2 bad boys to go into a Gorgon. And now, since we used Awakening, we actually have an Evil Eye spell trap in our graveyard. So we're going to be able to activate and banish Awakening to set Selene. Now, you can resummon the cat if you want. I don't really think there's necessarily a big benefit to doing so. Maybe if you wanted to summon the Link 3 instead, because you do have a 2600 monster, so that Link 3 would be able to attack twice. I don't know if it's 100% necessary. So I'm just going to end here after activating Selene. So we're going to activate Selene and equip to our Gorgon, and then we're going to activate Seal Tombs. So we're looking good. Our opponent has to deal with a negate, a pop, as well as the fact that we've got Gorg and Selene. So the Selene is going to be protecting our Gorgon from being targeted as well as being destroyed. And then this guy is going to be gaining every time we start getting lower than our opponent, which we already are. We're going to gain the difference between our life points, which is why he's 2600 attack. So we're going to set the defeat. We've got a pop, a negate, a Cocytus on the field, defeat, which will bounce 2 monsters. We've got Seal Tombs. They cannot special summon from the grave or banish from the grave. This is amazing. We're looking really good. So we're going to end it and let's see what they choose to do. Obviously, this is a bot. You're going to see more from the games that I play. And keep in mind, the cost to our Gorgon is that we have to destroy a monster at the next standby phase that we point to. He summoned a monster that we point to. So if we didn't activate, we wouldn't have to pay the cost. But I'm going to activate just because I want to destroy it for free. So we're going to negate it. We keep losing life points. So both of our fields are getting bigger. Now it's wanting me to activate the downside, the cost, and I have to destroy a monster I point to. This is a good reason why you don't want to summon your Zerzio below the link zone if you're planning on going into the Link 2, because then you would have to destroy your own Zerzio. So bam, we've got game right here. We could do a lot of things. We could sit here and just attack, because obviously this would just be game. If our opponent had some stuff on the field, maybe we'd activate the Zerzio if we need to. Maybe we'd negate if we need to. Maybe we'd bounce if we need to. We could go into the Link 3. Since we have a 2600 attack monster, we'd be able to activate those things and then go into this bad boy and then attack twice, and that would probably be game. We'd also be able to pop a card. Also, if we link these 2 monsters off, we'd be putting our Gorg in the graveyard, which would mean when we go into our Link 3, we'd also be able to activate Gorg, banish it, discard this confrontation, and search for something. And we have the Selene in grave, so we'd be able to get the Selene back as well by paying 1,000 life points. We'd be really good. We'd be looking really great. Here, I'm just gonna honestly just attack and just show you. Before I go, I'll actually show you this too, because I forgot to mention these bad boys. We do play the Utopia package. This is another way we can easily go for game. We get some of these bad boys, and since you need 1,000 or less life points to activate Utopia Ray, you get some of Utopia and then just stack the Utopia right on it, this deck can easily get to 1,000 life points or less. I mean, look at us, we're at 2,000 and it's literally just the turn that it came back to us. So we could easily do that if we wanted to go for game 2. We also play the Link 2 Phoenix Nightmare Phoenix in the deck, to get rid of some back row, get a nice little Link 2 to get rid of some back row. Before I leave, because I honestly forgot about that, keep in mind, whatever is equipped with Gorg is only bigger when you have less life than them, because we gain the difference in our life while their life points are higher than ours. So typically I attack with that monster first, because once their life is lower than ours, as you can see, he went back to being 1,600 attack. Alrighty, now going second, there's not a exact step-by-step what you do. It really depends on what you're going against, what you need. You may even just do the turn 1 stuff going second. To be honest with you, there is no flat out turn 2 for the deck, but you are likely to use your Phantom Breaksword. You're likely to go into your rank 3 to try to pop a card or remove something. You're likely to use that Evil Eye Cerzio to search for maybe a confrontation to get rid of a back row or something. So remember to do the same steps. We've already got Cerzio, so step 2, let's get us a hold of Basilius. So we're going to use the field spell and we're going to search for Basilius. Remember, the ratios literally tell you what's more important. You play 3 Cerzio, then 2 Basilius, then 1 cat. We're going to search for Basilius. So we're going to normal summon our Cerzio, and you may be wondering what we're going to search for. So it really depends. What we're going to do is, you could search for the back row removal. A lot of the time, I think it would be better, instead of searching for the back row removal, to just search for the Awakening. There are specific situations where you do really need to just get rid of that back row if you know exactly what it is. However, if we don't have Awakening and the back row that they have can just remove our Cerzio, then there's nothing we can do. We can't special summon Basilius if we don't control an Evil Eye monster. We can't special summon Cat from the grave if we don't control an Evil Eye monster. So a lot of the time, it would be better to just search for the Awakening if they have back row back there than it would be to actually search for the back row removal. If you get rid of the back row, if you don't have a board, who cares if you got rid of the back row if you don't have a board? So we're gonna search for the Awakening more often than not. What we're gonna do is we're gonna obviously special summon that bad boy. And we're gonna attempt to play through this. Obviously, it kind of matters. You depend on what they do, blah, 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 blah. You may have to activate something sooner if they disrupt you and stuff like that. There's not gonna be a great way for me to really 100% replicate it while showing you the turn 2. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna activate our Basilius and we're gonna send something to graveyard. Now, the only relevant cards to send are Selene or Gorg. So we're gonna use Basilius to send Selene, and we're gonna activate our Gorg. Now we do have the effect to pop a monster. Sadly, they don't have a special summon monster, but typically we would be able to activate. And also, the good thing about Gorg is that we don't actually lose 500 life points every time we activate our Evil Eye card. So we could keep popping and popping and popping and not lose anything. We would still get the downside of our monster, but the downside of Gorg isn't that we lose 500 life points. In fact, we get boosted more for having less life points. We get the difference between our life when we're lower than them. So it's honestly pretty ideal. We're gonna activate Awakening, and we're gonna get ourselves Cat onto the field. Cat is going to protect our Gorg, and we're gonna use these bad boys to go into the rank 3 Phantom Knight Breaksword. So we're gonna do a cool play here. We're going to detach Basilius, and instead of popping itself like you would do a lot of the time, we're gonna choose to pop our field spell and pop them. We could hit the back row too. Obviously, it's up to you, whatever you want to do. Now, since our field spell was destroyed by card effect, we'll be able to add an Evil Eye monster back from our graveyard. So bam, we'll be able to add the Basilius right back to our hand. Now we can activate the Selene from the graveyard. We'll choose to banish the field spell. Maybe we want to get Awakening back later. And now, bam, activate onto that bad boy. Now we've got game. We're gonna set our IDP. We're gonna activate Sealed Tombs, and bam, if he does somehow survive us attacking him because of whatever his back row is, he's gonna have to deal with a Cerzio that has double equip, so he can't just remove one equip. He has to remove both. And Gorg is protected from destruction, so he'll have to Cosmic both of them, or Cosmic the Gorg and then MST the Selene. And then after he does, if he can get through that, we still have the IDP here ready to get rid of some stuff. So we're looking really nice. Alrighty, so we're going first against Shaddolls. And remember, the first question you want to ask yourself is, do we want to activate Sealed Tombs? I feel like Sealed Tombs is better as a follow-up against Shaddolls than it is starting out. So I am not trying to actually activate Sealed Tombs here. So I'm going to normal summon my Cerzio. I'm actually going to search for Cat instead of searching for Awakening. Since I'm not going to be using Sealed Tombs, I can send Gorg instead of Selene. So I'm going to discard Cat because of the fact that it can be special summoned from the graveyard, so I'm not really losing anything by sending it. And I could have went one of two routes. I chose to search for Defeat. I see that I already have IDP here, so I felt like the Defeat alongside the IDP might just really guarantee game, but I could have chose to search for a second copy of Selene if I wanted, and I could have went into the Link 2 Gorgon and had Gorgon equipped with Selene as well as Cerzio, but I think we're going to choose to go into our Fortune Tomb. So I'm going to activate Selene, and then I'm going to protect it with my Cat, because remember, we can protect it, and then we're going to Xyz, into the Fortune Tomb. So now I'm going to set Defeat and set IDP, and we're going to pass to our opponent. So they normal summoned, it happened really quick, and they linked off. So they're probably going to be summoning into, I cannot remember her name for the life of me, Artemis, yes. So they're going to be activating the quick play, and I'm going to be chaining. The reason that I'm choosing the chain is because I think they're probably trying to go into construct. The fact that they linked into this means that they probably needed a light monster. So I'm assuming that if I pop this, they won't have a light monster, meaning they won't get construct and they won't be able to get their foolish burial going. So I'm gonna choose to pop it in response. They do have Shaddoll monsters in their hand. It's a fusion deck. What are you gonna do about it? It is what it is. So they go into Winda. Still nice. We're gonna lose 500 life points and gain 500 attack. This might be a misplay on his side. He chose to activate the dragon to pop one card on my field. You can pop one spell trap, but he chose to target Selene. Remember, we protected it with Cat when we Xyz, so it's not gonna be able to be destroyed. He probably should have went for one of the back rows. So it might have been a little bit of a misplay. And now he's going to attempt to flip his bad boy up, and in response, because I don't want to let him, I'm doing a lot of pausing because it's going by really fast. He's trying to activate Shaddoll Incarnation, which is gonna flip up his Shaddoll, and the monster that he special summoned from his deck is Hedgehog. This is gonna let him search for a Shaddoll monster, I believe, on flip. No, it's gonna let him get a Shaddoll spell trap on flip. So I'm gonna, in response to him trying to flip it, I'm gonna activate defeat, returning the fusion monster to the deck, returning his monster to his hand. So now we're looking good. We have to pop a card because of the fact that we activated our effect. I don't know why we chose to pop the Xyz. I know it protects itself, but we could have just popped the field spell. I'm not really sure why we did that. And we're just gonna go in for game. Nothing too deep here. Bam, attack, bam. And I do think, like I said, Sealed Tombs will be better as the follow-up play for them, but didn't even really need it. Kind of went in and just did our thing, Alrighty, we're going against Yami Merrick. Looks like we're going first again. So we're gonna be going against zombies. This Sealed Tombs is gonna be really nice. So we're gonna be trying to do our best to activate Sealed Tombs. We don't have the best hand. We do have Basilius, so we're gonna be trying to get a Sergio in our hand. We're gonna search for Sergio, and like you know, Sergio can obviously search for any card in the deck, and we're gonna choose to search for Awakening because of the fact that we already have 2 in our hand. We're just gonna use it. So we're gonna send Sealed Tombs, and the reason we chose to do this is because I do want to activate the Selene because that's the easiest way to burn 1,000. I don't actually think I would have had another way to lose 1,000. So instead, we're gonna be special summoning from the hand since we just happen to have another Basilius in our hand. Now we're gonna do that, and we're gonna go into Fortune Tomb. Now we're gonna be activating Selene from our graveyard, banishing Awakening, and sending it to the field, activating it, giving our Sergio its effect, and making it so that we can activate Sealed Tombs. And we have a defeat, so we're gonna be able to bounce 2 cards. We've got a pop and a bounce of 2 cards, as well as the Fortune Tomb in this game, 500 on the standby, and as well as the fact that, you know, it's gonna be stopping itself from being destroyed. So I wish we had a little bit of a negate. Unfortunately, we don't have a negate, so we have to let him do his thing. And bam. So we're gonna gain 500. We're gonna activate Gorg. We're gonna gain 500 attack and lose 500 life. So he's activating Droplet. Not really necessarily to negate me, just to kind of drop me so that I can't destroy his bad boy. Remember, we got burned because we activated a Evil Eye spell trap while we were on the field. So he's activating that Zombie Reborn. I mean, might as well be Zombie Reborn, to be honest with you. He's activating that, oh, it is Zombie Reborn. He's activating that Zombie Reborn, and he's gonna be banishing, and because of this guy was banished, he's gonna special summon the banished copy and whatnot too, so this is pretty nice. One of these are gonna go back to the deck, so I'm gonna defeat both of these bad boys. I don't want him to really start getting any plays going. And at this point, I'm just really hoping he doesn't have another starter, like a Unizombie or something, which of course he does because he has the Mizuki engraved. This is where I'm gonna choose to pop. I really don't wanna let him start, and I'm just really hoping he has nothing in his hand to possibly get some plays started. He puts the Mizuki back. I'm like, what a pain. So he's ended up getting the Unizombie back. He's got the plays, man. He is refusing to go down. But I don't think he actually had enough. So he ended up summoning this bad boy. He really couldn't do much about it. This guy only banishes. If this is special summon, you can target a monster in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. You know, he really couldn't do much. He can't target me. He can also target a monster on the field, but you can't target me because it's Selene. So it's just like, you know, what are you gonna do? Summons the Unizombie back, tries to go into more plays. I'm kind of curious. And at this point, I just figured he was just probably admitting defeat. There wasn't really much else he could do. I'm like, all right, this is game. So we're just gonna go in, gain that 500 life points. We're gonna pop that field spell, and bam, gonna be able to go in for game right here, 300, and then attack for 400. Pretty nice. Evil Eye is really cool, man. You get a lot of different boards though. It's a really fun deck. Yeah, Evil Eye is a really fun deck, man. It's pretty cool. It's pretty rogue. Honestly, it's pretty solid as a rogue deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like, share, comment, tell your best friends about it, tell the homies about it, and I'll see you next time. Weatherman signing out. Deuces.
Hey, why they gotta hate on me? I done got me 250,000 views and they still saying they low key. They ain't wanna come work with the kid, but I'm flexing with Zay on beats. How they ask for a spot at the gym, but they leave all the weight on me. I don't ask them to wait on me. They would ask where they gon' be with a song if they wanted the weatherman. I ain't asking to pay no fees. She was homeless and needed a spot. I ain't ask her to pay no lease. I ain't ask her to say no please. I ain't ask her to make no cheese. Scream fake, but it ain't on me. Got clean so it ain't no streets. Why green if it ain't no keeps? Brought cream so it ain't no beef. My team say it ain't no chief. My demon, they hang on me. They seemingly ain't no peace. I seen him, he ain't no beast.